Hi, everybody. Um, I know it's been a hot minute since I actually posted or even made a video, but it is Mermaid, and let me get the focus here. And I decided to take on two challenges in one fell swoop, and I thought I better record it because I do like to post videos. I actually do. Um, May is Mermaid, and usually it's the first of the month, and this is the first of May. And Ashley Colors has a hashtag called Metallic May, so I'm going to be doing this mermaid with metallics. I have the Derwent metallics, and I also have some Castle Art metallics that I'm going to be using. This one is by Dara Cardistoy. It's called Sleeping Beauty. Um, she's a new artist that I've never colored before, but I found this image extremely intriguing and fun. So let's get coloring. I'm going to be using Derwent Metallics Purple 89, and I'm going to go into these dark areas. Now, I admit I have not used my metallics as much as I should, um, but you know, it's always a first time uh, playing with metallics, and I'm gonna, with this purple, I'm gonna try to cover the dark areas here, um, and I'm gonna be moving my page around. If you follow me at all, you know I have a tendency to move my page because I don't want to break my wrist. But it's like I do have the metallics, and I actually think the metallics used to be just you only could get them in the standard metallic colors of gold, silver, bronze, copper. And now they have these really fun uh, metallics that have all these colors, and it's and they're not necessarily. I don't know if you can see it, but let me move. Let me telescope in here. But no, don't do that. Wee, hold on. There. Um, you can see that they're shiny. Uh, I will try to stay in frame. I promise. But as I said, I'm going through with this purple in the dark areas. I'm not going to worry about the uh, little spots. Um, I can always go back with another metallic and kind of cover those up. And I know it's going to take a few layers to get this covered. Um, but as I said, it's a challenge for me because I've not used my metallics as much as I really want to. And if you don't know, I dealt with one of the reasons I have not posted or posted anything or been even around very much is because I did have COVID, and I had a hard time coming back from that. Um, my color choices were like majorly off after I whenever I tried to color after COVID. But it's been about a month now, and I'm back into coloring, and um, I just if you've had it, you understand it. COVID is for real, man. It messes with your mind. Um, and it just it's no joke, I'll tell you. But they said Ashley Colors came up with the hashtag of metallic May, and I thought, oh, what a fun hashtag. And I wanted to do some metallics, and I thought, I love Mermaid. I'm not really good at coloring mermaids. Um, I have a tendency to overthink them, but I do like them. Um, I think they're beautiful and gorgeous, and I like the concept of a mermaid, even though I may not be the best at coloring them. Um, but so it's just a fun thing to do. Uh, and I have done the mermaid in the past. Um, but I can't. I wanted to get something a little bit different this year. I've got quite a few mermaid pictures, but I went on Etsy. This is an Etsy purchase, and I found this picture, and she's just stunning. Um, I'm probably saying her name wrong. It is Derya, and the last name is Kakirsoy. Um, and she, her stuff that she has on her Etsy store is beautiful. Definitely going to be going back and purchasing more from her. I don't know. I have not seen her images being done in the coloring community in this that I hang out with. Um, and if so, I just haven't seen it. Um, so, uh, but she's got some beautiful stuff. So check her out in Etsy and give this artist some love and support. Um, if you haven't, because she's got some beautiful images. Uh, I'm always very appreciative of artists that can draw, and because that is one skill set that I do not have. Um, I can do basic images, but not my forte. There's a reason why I am not a I'm a colorist and not an artist. Um, I just it's just not something I've been able to do. Ooh, look at this shine. Okay. Uh, and I'm trying to step out of the box. I don't want to make her too, you know, too human. Does that sound right? That sounds horrible. Because she is a mermaid, and mermaids can be very um, oh, they're fantasy creatures. Let's face it. Um, and so they can be fun to step out of the box and color choices. And of course, I'm doing purple because purple is my favorite color. And I'm coloring a little bit different than what I normally color because I'm doing small circles um, to get the layer down in several layers at one time. Um, it's not how I normally color, but with these metallics, I feel you kind of have to do to get the color down. You need to kind of go over it several times to get the color that you want, and to cover this grayscale. Um, and they are, as you can tell, they're kind of these metallics kind of they're a little more unforgiving than a normal colored pencil. So um, which is fine. It's the nature of the beast. And I want her soft. I want her to be soft and pretty. So I don't guarantee anything at this point. Um, yeah, I don't want to. As far as my life is concerned, I'm back at work after being sick. Um, it's ironic that I got sick after I had not left my house for 2 years, and there was a convention, work-related convention, that my boss um, wanted to attend. So we went down to this convention, and I ended up getting COVID, which is very ironic. Boss feels guilty as heck, but you know, kind of at this point, if you've not had COVID, expect to get it. Uh, it's gonna happen, um, one way or the other. Uh, I don't think we can escape it at this point. And I actually ended up having a pretty severe case. Um, I'm going to switch pencil. I am going to the different. Um, these are they are both Derwent metallics, but one is from an older set, and this is from a newer set. Um, my baby gal. I'm just taking off the uh, the the manufacturer coating whenever I'm sharpening. Well, these are pretty close in color. They look different, but laying down they're pretty close. Um, but that's okay. I love the shine. I love the shine in metallics. Um, as I said, Ashley came up with this hashtag, and I had to do it because I do have the metallics, uh, and not used them very much. So it's like, okay, let's adventure out of my comfort zone. These are really close to color, which I'm really kind of shocked because the leads look so different. And I know I have not swatched these out. I am not a swatchy girl. And it's a personal preference. I really don't, but I don't look at the dipped ends either. Because if you look at, like on this one, if you look at the dipped end, it shows a real light purple, but the lead is really dark. Um, I'm messing with my color light here. The lead is really a dark, and the end is really light. So I never go by the dipped ends because let's face it, if you've been coloring for a while, you know the dipped ends are not an accurate portrayal of the color. They say they are, but no. I've never seen a dipped in that actually um, was accurate to what the color of the pencil is. So uh, I always look at the whenever choosing colors, I look at the actual uh, lead color, um, what's coming out of the sharpened end of the pencil, to get an idea what the color is. Because I know that the dipped ends are usually not very accurate, um, and that may be just me. I don't know. Um, um, but I've never found a dipped end that's actually uh, actually close to what the pencil says. Even on this one, the lead and the dipped in actually looks very similar. Let me see. There, brighter light. But it's still, look at your end of the pencil where it's sharpened versus a dipped in whenever you're choosing your pencils. I think you'll get a much better result that way. Um, but that's just my personal tip. You don't have to, if you find dipped ends useful, more power to you. Because there is no right way to color. There's not one way, and that's this is all about personal choices, and I even if I follow a tutorial, I follow the techniques versus what the colors they're using, and that's because I want to be my own person. I don't want to color something exactly the way somebody else colors, because then it's not my uh, creative. It's somebody else's creative. But if you find it useful to color and use the same colors, please. Not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that I personally like to do a little bit different. Um, so my goal for this video is to get the tail done, and then I'll do a second video for the her skin. Um, but and as you get build up your layers, your colors get darker. Okay, put that one. Now this is Derwent Metallic Violet 14. And I'm just going to go in to the lighter areas with this color. Going over what I did and then coming out. Kind of blending in. Again, I'm going in circles so I get a more even coverage with these metallics. Ooh, so pretty. And of course, I'm going to build up layers here. And by doing circles, you get basically 2 layers of color at one time. Um, I occasionally find it frustrating to do multiple layers, even though I know it gives the best results to do multiple layers. I get impatient, and I don't know if other people get impatient, but I get impatient whenever I'm doing multiple layers. It's like, come on, I want it done. And I know it's not about speed coloring and that, but I want to get to the end result. I want to see if it turns out the way, um, in my mind's eye, that it's going to turn. I think it's going to turn out. I'm just, and I'm an impatient person. I totally and completely admit that I'm an impatient person. Turning the page again. Um, but that's just me. I'm an impatient person. I and I know this is a factor of me. Um, but I'm actually liking how she's turning out. I'm really actually liking how she's turning out. I'm going to move up to the bodice. Here. This picture almost looks like she's got a see-through top on, and obviously I'm not going to make it see-through, or else I won't be able to post it. So, but I am making it a little bit lighter. I'll darken it up once I come back and do a second layer of these colors. Okay. Okay. Now we've got the initial layer down. Zoom back out here. I think she's looking pretty good. Um, and I apologize. It's been a hot minute since I filmed, so my it's been a while since I've used my camera. So I got to remember how to use my little camera. So I've picked back up the purple 89, which is my darkest. I'm gonna go in and add a layer of the dark, kind of darkening it up, pulling it in, um, so that making it a little darker and bringing out the depth here. And I want to try to do this picture in all metallics, or majority of it in metallics, so you can really see the shine whenever I get done. um, so I don't want to have to go in with black, because I don't have a black metallic. Um, they have graphite though. I just now noticed I got a graphite. in metallic. So if I have to add some dark, I can guess I can use the graphite color. Kind of defining the octopus's. Oh, sorry, the octopus's tentacle here with the dark uh, here. As I said, metallics are a little bit different than a now the uh, because they don't lay down like they don't smush. I have at least the Derwent metallics don't squish, um, and they're a hard pencil. They're an oil based, um, so they're not going to squish like a Prisma or a Black Widow. Um, so you gotta do layers. Um, Especially whenever you're doing grayscale to cover the gray. Um, we had a discussion in another streamer's live stream about grayscale. Um, Whenever I first started coloring, I refused to do grayscale. I didn't. I thought it's like, okay, you lay down one color over the whole thing and it's done and it's not a challenge. Then I watched several videos, people working on grayscale, and it's like, well, wait, I misjudged grayscale. Um, you can cover up the gray and just use the gray as your your starting point of where your shading should be. And I've started using grayscale and coloring on grayscale, and now I love them. Um, Grayscale is actually fun because you don't have to think about your shading because the artist has already done it. Um, it 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 makes shading so much easier because you kind of have an idea of what the artist who did the picture, how they wanted it to look. So yeah, now I do a lot of grayscale, and I one of the first set of pictures that I came whenever I came back to coloring after being sick, I did line art, and I thought, wow, I forgot how much of a challenge line art is because you gotta make a decision on where the light and dark um, sorry color sharpening here because I want to kind of you've got to make a decision on your light source, and with grayscale the artist has already made that decision on where the light source is. um, so there's a if you can do line art and color line art, you can certainly do grayscale because in line art you have to make a decision on light source. Where is the light coming from? Um, how where are you gonna put your shadows? Um, so each type of coloring page, whether it be line art or grayscale, has its own challenge because grayscale you gotta make sure that you're covering up um, that grayscale, so it's got shading and it helps with your shading and defining your shading, but um, you do have to make you know work a little harder to make that the gray not shine through, not be a focal point, and make it shaded and pretty. Um, but you don't have to think about light source because the artist has already done that for you. So, um, and I guess whenever I was working on line art, or when I work on line art, that is one of my biggest challenges is to make sure my lighting source is consistent and I'm not all over the place with my lighting source. So, um, as I said, each has its own unique challenge. But as I said, line art seemed, I'm not ditching line art. They're fun to do. There's a lot of really great images as far as line art is concerned. You just have to. It's the light source that you got to be conscious of. And in grayscale, the artist has already determined your light source. Um, determined where they want the light coming from, which it's one less thing you as a colorist have to think about. I'm going to define this um, upper part here a little bit with the dark. So I get a really nice concept deviation between um, the that break in it or where the it's not even a swimsuit. Um, Between the clothing and the skin. What do you really technically? I guess on a mermaid, they don't wear swimsuits. They just kind of it's part of their skin. I guess I don't know. Random thought. You know, do they take off the top part of their outfit? Seems like it's just part of their skin. I don't know. Odd things I think about while I'm coloring. Um, Now you're getting into the working of my mind. Poor you. Uh, yeah, she's coming along. Um, okay, I'm gonna go back in with the violet. I like a sharp pencil, and I like the Tagal on the harder pencil because you're not wasting a lot of the pencil in sharpening. It only takes out a minute part um, of the pencil to get a nice sharp. Um, I have to admit, whenever I use my Prismas, I have a tendency to sharpen a lot more than what I do. Um, because they just smush so well. But these definitely don't smush. These metallics are definitely a hard oil-based pencil, so it's you definitely have to keep in mind that you're going to have to do multiple layers and be prepared for doing multiple layers with these metallics. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing the small circles, because you can actually get two layers of color down at one time, um, by doing the circles. You're going over an area a couple times when doing the circles. And not everybody likes to do the circle. Um, and you have to develop what works best for you. It There is no right or wrong way to color. Um, I can just give you my opinion on the best way to lay down something like a metallic. Um, I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I do not want you to think that I am putting myself out as an expert, because I am not. Um, I will be the first one to tell you that I am not an expert. And even though I'm holding my pencil close because I want the control, um, I am not putting that much pressure on these pencils. I'm doing light layers. Okay. Now I've gone over this a couple times. Going with the different purple. Kind of adding in so the transition is not so sharp or defined here. I think she's taking shape. Yeah. And I just dropped the pencil. Luckily, it kind of rolled down my leg and didn't hit the thing. I'm going to take my Caran d'Ache blender. And burnish this off to see what we get. The Caran d'Ache blender doesn't actually really blend. It burnishes. It's more of a burnisher. It makes those colors pop. It does kind of blend and to the point where it covers up the white spots. But you can tell where I have blended and where I haven't. The color is much richer. Where I have actually blended versus where I have yet to blend. And that's the advantage of the Caran d'Ache blender, is not that it necessarily blends out the color, but it just makes the color pop. And it covers up, kind of smooths in those white spots. That we all get on the page. And I'm trying to avoid going over any areas that I have yet to color. Because even after you've burnished it like this, you can color over where it's done. But it's a little bit, you gotta work at putting down more color. So I don't want to burnish something I haven't even put color on, because it will make it that much harder to add color to in the end. I'm trying to go along where I laid color. Oh, I just did that with my hand. And I'm known for scolding people for doing things with their swiping with their hand. I'm so sorry. Ugh. See, I'm as guilty as everybody else from accident, not thinking about it and swiping with your hand. Um, that's why I don't yell at people anymore, because it's like I'm not perfect. I admit that I'm not perfect. Every once in a while, I'll go off with my hand, not thinking about it. Just, oh well, quick swipe. Um, I admit that I'm bad. I'm a bad person. Look at the metallics. Okay. But I do try to use a brush, and I do recommend that you use a brush, because you can destroy a picture if you catch with your hand and swipe across the page with your hand, and you actually have picked up something on your hand. But let's face it, we all every once in a while just kind of use your hand, and you don't think about it, and then you catch yourself and thinking, "What the heck am I doing? I'm gonna destroy my picture." Um, Focus. I'm sorry, guys. Bring her back into focus. Now, at this point, normally I would add white to my picture to do some highlights, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to grab the silver. And hopefully this is going to turn out the way I want it to. And I'm going to add a little silver into the light areas. I don't know if that's picking up or not. I'm not sure. It's not doing what I want it to do. Let me see. I'm going to grab the Castle Art, because they've got a lighter color called Bodice Gray. See if I can get. I'm going to pass. It's not doing exactly what I want. So, my good old Prisma white. Although it's gonna take some of that sheen off. I have to think. Do not panic. I'm gonna have to think. Okay. I'm going to put my purples away here. And I am going to now go with this is called green. This is the old green, the original Derwent green, and I think this green is darker, so I'm going to start going in to the darker areas on these fins with the darker green. Yes, I'm doing Mardi Gras colors, green and purple on her. I didn't want to do green. I do her in green, but I did. I thought, oh, the fin should be green. Oop, that was hair. No one green hair. Sorry, I'm concentrating, so I'm not talking, and makes for a boring video. Whenever you don't talk. You can tell I haven't haven't filmed for a while because I'm being boring. Oh no. Don't mean to be boring. But that's the one thing you kind of run out of things to say. Say whenever you're filming. Because I don't want to bore anyone. But you don't want silence either. Okay, I'm gonna flick her tail. Nice long flicks with this green. To get the color in. The nice thing is these metallics are hard, so they do the. Then go into from the end of the tail. I'm flicking into the body. The key to flicking is to have a nice sharp pencil. That way you can get the individual lines. In definition. I'm going to go along her hair. Okay. Now the hard part. This tail has a lot of hair going over it, so I want to define my outside of this side of the tail, so I'm not flicking into the hair. And you'll see me, I'm rolling the pencil to keep that nice sharp point onto the paper. And a couple rounds on the sharpener to get my point back. Then going up. I find if I define the exterior, I have a basis to put my pencil down into. Starting point. Especially on something like this. Yeah, she's coming along here. I can always go back and add more of the flicks to darken it up. And if you have to turn your page, I'll be honest, I don't see how people color without turning their page. Especially, I want to get the angles right. And as I get older, my wrists are not as flexible. So that is one layer of green. So we go in. This is Green Metallic 11 from the new Derwent set. And this is a Derwent 20 pencil set, 20 metallics that I'm using. And it is a little, it's still pretty dark. Not she's coming along. And you'll see me sharpening quite a bit whenever I'm doing flicking. Only because I want to keep that nice sharp point. Darkening it, using this pencil because it seems to actually, even though the tip seems lighter, laying down it's A little bit darker than the original that I was using. Who knew? Or the fact that I'm going over where I've already flicked. But I want those defined lines in this tail. Trying not to flick over hair. Don't know how successful I'm being. But I am trying my best not to have green hair. Um, there's colors that the two greens I've been using so far are very similar, but there is a slight color difference, and you may not be able to see that from the video, but there is a slight color difference. Okay, now I have two colors here, turquoise and silver mint. So I'm going to do the silver mint. I did go over here, but I can erase what I don't want. Again, I'm defining this tail and flicking. Now I don't know if you can see the mint, silver mint has it's a really light and beautiful color actually. And at this point I'm just filling in the fins. And if I have to, I can come back with some of my dark areas gets a little light after being gone over with. I can add a little bit more color in of the darker. So I'm going to be switching back and forth between these two colors, the Silver Mint, which is 09, and the green 11. To keep that fin definition going here. You can really start seeing the shine whenever I'm coloring with these metallics. It's really becoming apparent that I'm using metallics. The farther I get into it, you can really start seeing the shine on this picture, which is great. That's the point of using metallics, is get that pretty shine, awesome shine and glow to it. I'm really liking the tail, the way the tail is coming out. I don't know if you can see me moving the pencil to bring that point back on into contact with the paper. I'll do a couple flicks and then roll my pencil a little bit. If you can see how that's turning out, if I to get rid of the over you can see the shine, you can see the layering I'm doing on this tail. Trying to make sure I'm covering all the white spots, but still keep that flicky line issue, or the definition of those lines in these fins. Now I've done the easy parts. um, Now I need to figure out the hair. Um, I'm going to have to go to the Castle Arts because the Castle Arts has browns in it. And I'm going to be using the Castle Arts to to uh, do the hair. This is mahogany uh, 009 MT, which is a metallic castle art. And yes, I'm ignoring this skin because the skin I'm going to have to do with regular colored pencils if I make it skin color. Although I may do it in regular colored pencil and then add metallic highlights to it. Ooh, that's not good. My Trigal is getting full. But again, I'm just flicking in these darker areas. Of her hair. I'm going to do my Trigal. Now I'm going to go with Moonshine, which is a lighter brown. Again, I've sharpened it. I'm flicking up and down into this section of hair. And then I'm going to go Malang, which is a kind of a golden color, golden brown. So, got her metallic hair going on there. Now I screwed up whenever I was doing the tail, and there's actually a piece of hair that runs here. So I'm erasing the green off of her where the hair is. Go back to mahogany. I will say the metallics do not erase as well as a standard colored pencil. But it's just the nature of the beast. Sharpening so I get nice defined lines here. this piece was part of her hair. Turning my page. You can get the flicks in this little piece. And I'm doing this hair in sections. It was suggested by Belinda, Color Faithful Girl, that you do hair in sections. Then it doesn't become quite so overwhelming. And it's taken me some practice to get into that habit of doing sections instead of just doing the whole shoot and match hair at one time, doing all the darken all over the whole thing, and then go in and do the next color and the next color. And I'm finding my hair looks much better if I'm doing this in sections. I'm much more pleased with how my hair is turning out now that I've taken that advice from Miss Color Faithful Girl. I'm liking how my hair's turn out now. It's and I thought about doing I'm going to do a kind of a bluish green background on this. I think this section is done beautifully. I'm really liking. And you notice I did not burnish the tail. And the reason that is I want to keep those defined streaks in it. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me do all this hair. I'm going to call this video done. And I will come back whenever I do another video on the skin and the fish and the octopi, because the hair is going to take me a bit, because there's a lot of hair on this. So thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something, or taken away something on this. That's what she looks like with the metallics so far. As I said, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing on the skin. But we do have. I'm not going to have you sit here for another hour or plus for me to do the skin or do all this mass quantity of hair. And then we'll have to. I'll have to make the decision on the fish and the octopus. And that, but I will come back and shoot another video, doing the skin and the fish and the octopus. And I will talk to you later. Thank you for. I'm going to zoom out here. Let me sharpen it up. Zoom out a little bit more, sharpen it up a little bit more. There you go. So that's what I accomplished in about an hour and 15 minutes. I think she's looking pretty cool. I hope you agree. And I'm going to follow the same what I did in these sections on the hair with the rest of the hair. And I will be back in another video to show you the skin, the octopus, and the fish. Thank you for watching. Bye.